D-Lo 404. Want to try to get me one more in on my way to work this morning. Probably have it. I hope to upload this video after work today. I once again want to talk about the interview. Ness from the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Ness. Shout out to the Boxing Voice. I want to give my point of view on this interview that he had with Eddie Hearn. The point in particular where Big Baby Millers has joined the interview, and they're talking about the heavyweight division. Basically talking about the landscape of the heavyweight division. Those guys are talking about, you know, who's out there to fight, who's out there for Big Baby to fight. Of course, Eddie wants to play matchmaker for all these other guys. You know, Eddie says the heavyweight division is where it's at. And I agree. Right now, the heavyweight division has some buzz. But, and I've stated in other videos that if these other guys aren't fighting each other, then all that buzz is just going to waste. If everybody in the division wants to sit around and wait to try to fight Fury, try to fight AJ, and try to fight Wilder, then the division's just going to be stagnant. You're going to have a lot of guys that people know. They know their names. They know their bodies of work. They've seen their fights. But at the same time, they're watching the guys sit around. And case in point, you look at Dominic Brazil. Oh, yes, he had a title shot against AJ, and he came up woefully on the, you know, put out a woeful output and came up, you know, on the short end of the stick, you know, and got knocked out and looked horrible in that fight. But there he sits as Wilder's mandatory, and I think his reservations with fighting anyone is because he's Wilder's mandatory. He feels like he should be getting that fight, so he's just sitting around waiting. But what I think is that if he doesn't want to fight anyone else because he's afraid of losing, and thus losing that mandatory position. So he's not fighting anyone. And I think there's other guys in other positions that really don't want to fight anyone of substance. So they're not fighting any of the other guys that we know. They're not fighting any of the other guys that we want to see them in with because of the perceived risk. So back to the interview. Eddie Hearn is talking about who should fight who. Of course, these aren't his fighters he's talking about. You know, he's talking about Luis Ortiz could fight Kownacki. I think that would be a good fight. He actually said, he even said that he thought Luis Ortiz against Big Baby was a good fight. He started talking about other guys, and this person should fight that person. And, you know, of course, he talked about, you know, how much money he paid. He even brought up Mikey and Spence, which, you know, they're not heavyweight, but he brought up how much money he paid each guy if he, you know, could get him on the zone. But anyway, back to the heavyweights. He said, when he said Luis Ortiz versus Big Baby would be a good fight, Big Baby spoke up and said, hey, well, I think Luis Ortiz versus AJ would be a good fight. Like, Big Baby was like, nah, I don't want no part of that. I mean, there was like zero shame in him basically saying, don't put that monster on me, put him on your guy. And I was listening to the interview, wasn't really looking at it because I was driving, so I could be mistaken. It could have been Ness that said, I'd like to see Luis Ortiz versus AJ, but I think it sounded like it was Big Baby that said it. And then also said that he said that he thought Luis Ortiz versus Dillian White would be a good fight. And he's like, what happened to that? You know, he just ran over there and fought Joseph Parker. And Eddie Hearn really didn't have anything to say, you know, because those are facts. You know, those are facts. You know, Luis Ortiz is there to be fought for any of them guys. You know, and it seems like, you know, him being knocked out by Wilder, which I said in another one of my videos. I think I entitled the video, Luis Ortiz is a feared man. But that didn't hurt his stock, or that didn't help him shed that fear factor that these guys have for him. These guys still aren't trying to fight Luis Ortiz. These promoters still aren't trying to put their guys in with Luis Ortiz and they can make 100 interview videos talking about how old he is and this, that, and the other, and they're still not willing to put their guys in there with him, and they're still not, and the fighters are still not willing to get in the ring with him. So you're gonna still see Luis Ortiz going around fighting a bunch of guys that, you know, we're gonna say, well, who is this guy? Who is that guy? Because those are the only guys that are willing to get in the ring with him. He can only fight the guys that are willing to fight him. But you know, I think Eddie Hearn needs to stop worrying about trying to play matchmaker for the rest of the heavyweight division and worry about putting his guys in the right fight. Like I said in another one of my videos, you know, that Chisora Dillian White rematch is there to be had, and that's a hot fight, and it's even hotter after they share the card. But he seems oblivious to the fact that fight could do well, and not just in the UK. I mean, I think that's a fight that the American audience would tune in to watch as well. You know, Chisora's an exciting guy. He's exciting in interviews. He's charismatic, and so is Dillian White. And when they came together in the original fight, you know, they made for a good fight, good entertaining scrap. And I think that's a fight that he should be worried about making, more so than worried about what other guys who were promoted by other people should do. You know, he's very concerned about the AJ Wilder fight. That's none of his business. Not AJ Wilder, the Fury Wilder fight. That's none of his business. He needs to worry about doing what's best for his guys, and you know, putting them in the fights that the fans want to see, that the consumer wants to see. So I just say that, you know, as long as he's sitting around hiding his guys from danger and from the big fights, you know, he's doing just as much to hold up the heavyweight division as these other guys who are refusing to fight guys on their level, refusing to fight the other guys who are trying to get into a position of a heavyweight title fight as well. You know, but all in all, you know, these interviews, the more Eddie talks, the more his lies become obvious. You know, I just think that Eddie needs to, you know, go ahead and just go ahead and be straightforward about some of this stuff. You know, come out and say that, hey, fighting Wilder right now just ain't the right fight for us. Fighting this fight ain't right for us. Fighting that fight, you know, whatever. I mean, even with the Luis Ortiz situation, if he don't want to put his guys in with Ortiz, you say that. You know, you got Dillian White, you know, thinking that he has some claim to the mandatory position for the WBC, and they pretty much told him, hey, fight Dillian White and you're the guy, and he pretty much just ignored that. I mean, you know, acknowledge that, Eddie. You know, acknowledge, you know, why you refuse to put AJ in with Dillian White, and don't use WBA as a scapegoat. You know, that's a fight the fans want to see. You know, AJ fans don't want to see it, but I mean, boxing fans want to see that fight. You know, why did you put Dillian White in with him? You know, if Dillian White can do interviews and talk bad about the man, Dillian White ought to be willing to step in the ring with him. You know, I just think Eddie needs to concentrate on Eddie's business, quit worrying about everyone else's business, and the boxing business will be a lot better off. You know, yeah, it makes for good content for us to do interviews on. It makes for good comedy, but in reality, it's just Eddie running his mouth about stuff that doesn't concern Eddie. You know, Eddie needs to try to get the zone on track, because if that Chicago card is any indication of what the zone cards are going to be like in boxing, good luck getting those subscriptions up, Eddie. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people getting it for free for that trial period, but that'll be it. I mean, I'm not even gonna get it on the trial period because I don't want to take a chance on forgetting about it and actually getting charged $10 for it. You know, I don't want to pay any money toward the zone or anything Eddie Hearn has going on unless it's making that fight between AJ and Wilder our pay-per-view, you know, up to $100 to see that fight. But as far as paying for it, watching on the app, on the zone, I'm not doing it. But on that note, I'm going to get out of here. If you're liking my videos, please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're not feeling videos, thumb the video down. I appreciate your viewership, and I'm out of here.